All right, so the next thing we need to do is dial in something we call white balance. Now, different lights have different color temperatures. Elliot, let's do a demonstration. Can you make this picture very blue and very cold? Am I blue and cold? Now, can you make the picture super warm from cold
Here we go.
to like a warm setting? Is it nice and orange, nice and warm?
Yep.
All right. Try to find the middle ground again, like where we started. And we'll let your eyes, we use the discretion of your eyes. It doesn't have to be perfect though. Are we back to like a base now? Now, let's make the video very green, Elliot. We'll make the video green. Are we green? Ish.
There we go. Green.
Bang, now we're green. Now let's take it to the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's make it very magenta, very purple. And the reason why I'm showing you guys this is to give you the visual understanding is that somewhere in between these 4 points, the coolness, the blue coolness, the warm orangish, the green-ish tint, and the magenta tint, somewhere in between there is the white balance that you should dial into your camera based on the lights and the settings you have around you. All right, now let's take it back to neutral, Elliot, based on, we'll use your judgment, man. Good money? All right, to drive the point home even more, right here we have an LED light wand. As you can see, this is a warmer temperature light. All right, this right here, as we sift through, is a cooler temperature light, right? Cooler temperature light. Okay, now light is measured in what we call Kelvin, right? So as you look at this right here, you can see it says 32K. That means 32 Kelvin, and we have a warmer light. As we dial it this way, you see the numbers get higher, the light cools off, and now we're at 56K. Right, let's turn that back to 32. Right, back to the warmer, just for the sake of redundancy, driving the point home. Same thing on this light, 32K. As we bring it higher to 56K, the light gets cooler, okay? Back to 32. Same thing with the practical behind the whiteboard. We'll get into that later. I'll teach you about practicals, okay? Now, again, I'm not trying to turn you into a filmmaker. All you need to understand is that white balance is essentially trying to make sure the whites in your picture, the white in your video is white. There's all kind of color casts based on the lights that you have, the walls that you're surrounded by, like our walls are green. So naturally, the white in the image or the whole room is going to have a green tint to it. Cameras are great, but they're not as sophisticated as our eyes. So in order to dial in and make the camera see what we see in real life, we have to dial in white balance. Now there's different settings that you'll see on each camera. So on your camera, you'll see settings, right, like this. You got A, W, and B. Auto white balance is sort of like it's not a hack, but it's an easy way to get close enough to the white balance that you desire, right? As we sift through though, you have other presets. I think the first preset kind of looks like a sun, something like that. Let's go to that one, Elliot. I think that's daylight. Is that a sun or a light? Is that a sun?
Sun.
It is a sun? Right. This is daylight. Now you can see the color start to change. Let's go to the next one, Elliot. What's the icon on the next one?
Light bulb.
A light bulb. Right? Elliot, when you change it to the light bulb, did the color change a bit?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. What's the icon?
It's like a light bar.
Light bar. Just visualize that. Change the color? Right, and let's just go through the other ones, like slowly, right? Let's go to the next one. What's that icon, Elliot?
It's like a house. I think it's a shadow.
Like a house? Right, let's go to the next one.
It's a cloud.
It's a cloud, right? Which is the cloudy setting. And is there one more or is that the last one?
Then there's CWB and AWB.
Okay, right. So that's taking us back to auto white balance. So now let's take us back to auto, Elliot, and we'll use the discretion of your eyes to take us back to the white balance where we should be, right?
Okay.
All right, based on your environment, whether you're outside, right? So the daylight balance would mimic a light closer to this or sunlight. All right, let's pan up here, Elliot. This is a daylight balance light bulb, right? Which means it's a higher Kelvin temperature. So if you're using lights that are daylight balance, then you want to put your white balance on daylight, right? And vice versa. On one of the settings, I think it's tungsten, right? Which makes your video very blue. The reason why you would want to use tungsten is if you're in a room that has lots of orange lights, right? Like evening lights, right? Or if it is the evening time, which is a warmer color tone, right? Now, the science behind it, we won't get into like the science. Basically, it's a counterbalance. So if I'm using a light like this, like the one I have now, my key light, that's daylight color balance, that's daylight balance, right? Which is a blue light, right? If I throw it on daylight, it's actually going to add more orange to the shot, which will make it neutral, right? Let's talk about color theory for a second. If something's too red and I want it to look neutral, how do I get rid of the red? I'll add blue, because these are on opposite sides of the color wheel, like the color spectrum. If something's too green and I want it to look neutral, I'm going to add magenta so that it takes out these these hues, and I get something that's neutral, right? So similar to, let's say if we throw it on tungsten, if we threw that on tungsten, which we did a moment ago, if we threw the white balance on tungsten right now and having this blue light on me is going to be too blue. The reason why I want to throw it on daylight is so it adds orange to the blue so that we get a natural picture, right? And that's pretty much like the science behind white balance. You just want to get it in, dial it in to the point where everything looks neutral and your whites are whites. Now, just because we get it to a point where your whites are white doesn't mean you have to keep that color cast. So for example, if you want to warm up the shot, once you get your white balance dialed in and you decide, you know what, I actually want to warm up the shot a bit, then you can take the slider and warm it up to your discretion, right? Same thing if you want more of a cooler shot, if you wanted your shot to appear cooler or a little bit emotionless, right? Or that's the emotion you're trying to portray. Then you would take the slider and slide it to the blue, towards the blue to make the shot cooler, right? But the first thing we want to do is make sure we get the whites white, and then you use a little bit of the discretion to determine if you want it to be warmer, cooler, greener, or more magenta. Usually with the magentas, with the color tones, the greens or the magenta, you really kind of want to make sure that's neutral, because rarely will you want your image more green or more magenta. That's just helping you counterbalance. So we're in a room with a bunch of green walls, so I'm going to move slightly magenta so that it looks like less green, a little bit more neutral. That's the gist of white balance. Another thing that you can do if you needed to is you could take a white card, right? And this is just post-it notes, right? But you could take a white piece of paper, right? And they have specific cards that you can buy, which are white balance cards. You determine which light is your key light. This right here is your key light, your main light source. You would come here and you throw your card next to, say, your face. Like, more than likely, you're gonna be filming your face is the most important part of the shot. And you would take a video or a picture of this here. And then from there, when you go to edit, one, you can dial in a white balance here, right? But even when you go to edit, you can take an eyedropper. You'll click on the white piece of paper that's being lit by the key light, and then you'll dial in your white balance that way. And it should snap in, because this will be white and all the other colors around you will be correct. And then from there, again, use your discretion to make it a little warmer, a little cooler based on the narrative that you want to portray. So far, we discovered the 3 windows of a camera, right? How to get the perfect exposure. After that, we got in the frame rates so that we determine if we want a cinematic frame rate, if we want slow motion, and anything in between. Next, we dialed in our white balance so that the colors aren't looking crazy and that we give off the emotion that we want, whether it's a warmer emotion or a cooler emotion. And next, we're going to go into, if your camera has this capability, raw or raw. and why you want to, if you have the ability to shoot in log or raw, because it'll just make your shot that much more crispy.